Bulambul Vinaka, everyone. Vakalevu na Sema Mai. Thank you for joining us on this live session. It's 3:11 in Fiji, but here in California and in Canada, it's 11 minutes past 8 in the evening. It's Monday evening here, but it's Tuesday in Fiji and Rotuma. So today we have a very special guest joining us from Canada, and she will be telling us a very interesting project that she's been working on. It's a labor of love, and it is connecting us all the way to the beautiful island of Rotuma. So if you're from Rotuma listening in, Anoaie Maori, thank you so much for joining us today. And we're so blessed that we have Tamara Aisake, who has taken the time away from a busy schedule to come today on my program and share her project with us. So for those of you who always join my Talanoa program, you always know that I start with some music to kickstart our Talanoa and also to allow time for others who are just joining in to join us on this Talanoa session. So I have the beautiful song from Rako Pacifica on the song on Av Manea song on Rotuma, and also acknowledging Dr. Leti Lamicho and her team who are currently here in the United States working on a project called Project Rotuma. So it's really great that we've just celebrated the Rotuman Language Week, and here we are sharing with you a very special project on Rotuma. So hopefully you will enjoy this beautiful song by Rako Pacifica. Noaie Maori.
Hapo. Raota uma arotuma, raota uma arotuma, nefu ewo, ne Pacifica. Sirian hoki a fenga mau, hoki a fenga ne o I ea fate ela mane a ete, hente ela mane a mase. Tra la 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 la, tra la 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 la, tra la 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 la, tra la 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 la. My own extra. Try ahaharangi oi oi siliang okia fenga ma okia fenga de o I ea fate ela mane a ete gente ela mane amase tra la 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 mayon exyo la elia no fuge palanasta oni akia aseafna kuya helava palaneasta chuchu peche mamodusa oi na faama malha itumuta solo ganeasta hasta la sol kikia celosa solo makia hace sol roa kuya helava solo ganeasta cha la 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 mayon exyo la elia ei inya leyanta kayo mawawa ne se talayora pola yora anya ya abat nego mama semao mayone opin semo marosiamo popo iamo la taya eo popo iamo la taya eo Noa ia e este bene isi malo bene isi ma omistela la otomis fu raota uma arotuma raota uma arotuma nefu ewo ne pacifica
Beautiful, beautiful song of Rotuma. Nimbula, Nimbula Vinaka, Nawaye Maori to everyone listening in today. What a wonderful afternoon and evening for us here, for me and Tamara. So here she is. Just so glad that we finally are connected. Thanking Miriam Suraki, who is currently listening in from England, Vinaka vakalevu to the Marama Alliance UK, for connecting me with Tamara. Many of you would know that over the years, I've been a huge supporter for our fellow brothers and sisters from the beautiful island of Rotuma, going back to Auckland, New Zealand, where I was working alongside the Rotuman community there, especially Fesaitu Solomone, who is now the CEO of the Pacific Language Center in Manukau in Auckland. So also acknowledging Fisaitu Solomon, who's also listening in today, and all the fellow Rotumans all around the world. Vinaka Vakaleo for joining in. Buli Vinaka Seta Mao, Buli Vinaka Samuel Radhava, and also acknowledging Letila Mitchell, who is the director of Rako Pacifica, the song that we've just listened to a few minutes ago. Now we have Tamara, who is logging in from the beautiful Canada. Bula Vinaka Tamara, and thank you for joining me today.
No, ai Maori. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and maybe just tell us where exactly in Canada you are connecting from.
Sure. Yeah. Ngō no Vancouver, Canada. That's also Coast Salish territory here on the west coast of British Columbia.
Wow, that is amazing. And what's the weather like right now?
No, same old, same old. Always gray, always raining, isn't it?
Oh, wow. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, connecting to the beautiful city of Vancouver on the west coast of Canada. And now, Tamara, tell us a little bit about yourself. Were you born and raised there in Canada? What took you to Canada?
For sure. So, yeah, I guess I can introduce myself in the Rotuman way to give you a little
Sure.
bit of context.
Yes.
Oto ata le Tamara Aisake, ma hani hani hapa, as you might have seen me online. Oto fa tafa ne fapufa Rotuma. Fapufa is just in Itutiu, but our house is, so what I've told, the house is on the Itumuta side of the village. And yeah, so my father's from Fapufa in Rotuma, born and raised there. And then he met my mom in Fiji, and I was born and raised here in Vancouver, Canada.
Wow, that is amazing. So you mentioned, did you say Itutu is where your family's from?
Yeah, so Fapufa, generally people know it as being a part of Itutiu, but I don't know how, I'm not from there necessarily, so I can't tell you the details how it happened, but my family says the end of the road where our house is on is the other side of the border from Itumuta, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe I need to go back a bit and investigate myself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've just been talking about the amazing Rotuma Language Week.
Mm.
Tamara, what was your language week like?
Yeah, so I've been really an advocate for bringing the language week things to happen in Canada, because if they can do it in Aotearoa, New Zealand, we can do it here in Canada. So we've been doing different things all week, preparing for our Rotuma Day gathering, where we did a totonga and got together and got to practice our traditional dance and song, as well as releasing different things with Marama Alliance. I was leading the Rotuman Language Week campaign, so you might have seen some of the posts that we got to collaborate with there, as well as the Rotuman Language Book. So there's been a lot going on this language week. It's been many years in the process, but it's been nonstop. And I tell you, I have never understood my elders so well than I have this week. So it's feeling like a really good, successful Rotuman Language Week.
Wow, that is amazing. And I know Aotearoa, takes the lead, in celebrating Pacific Language Weeks. And how do you feel about the celebrations and the spotlight of many of our Pacific Islands for a whole week to celebrate them?
Yeah, I think I love it. I just seeing everybody from the diasporas all over the world being able to reconnect, particularly since of our vulnerable language position and so many of us living outside of the island compared to on island. It's so important for us to put the work into it now, because I know that it only takes one generation for a language to die, and it takes three to get it back. So it's something that we want to do preventatively, and wherever we're at in the world, wherever there's Rotumans to speak to, we can use it.
Wow, that is awesome. And I've also seen the social media presence of Rotumans. That's great.
Yes, I've learned this week particularly how important education is to Rotumans, and the ability to communicate what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you want to do, to have the thought and then to make it happen as a core value of Rocco for Rotumans.
Wow, that is awesome. Yeah. And it's just been great. Yeah. Wherever I go in New Zealand or even in Hawaii, meeting up with the Taukave brothers, just
Yes.
great, hanging out with them and learning so much from them too. So thank you to all of you from Rotumo for blessing us in the world. Now, apart from you being Rotuman and, raised over in Canada, you have another hat that you wear in the education field. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, yes. So I work with the YWCA of Metro Vancouver, and we deliver youth education programs. So I particularly work with grade 7 students, helping them transition to high school, but we also develop other things like curriculum. And I really try and focus on facilitating the accessibility of the knowledge that we're trying to share. So creating educational content, delivering programs, and facilitating is what I do night and day.
Seems like you enjoy it, right?
Yeah, true calling, eh?
Yeah, Nasara. So true, Tamara. And in terms of the teaching, is it through just within the Vancouver area that you do your teaching, or do you also reach out to other areas in Canada?
Yeah, so just right now with the YWCA capacity, I'm working in my local area with local students in the schools that I grew up in. And that's been really rewarding for myself because it's very separate than the Rotuman work I do that is more global and long distance. So getting to have a little bit of that community stuff on the ground has been really good for me.
That's awesome. And then also, apart from you being a teacher and now being a Rotuman culture advocate, you're also an artist. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I had originally started as a scholar doing my undergraduate studies of sociology and nonprofit education, but I found academics to be so limiting into my indigenous expression, both in the methods of Times New Roman, everything in 12-point font, and everything needing to be very formal and needing these academic journals to prove everything, and really struggling with how to make sense with my indigenous knowledge and how to share that. So I had some wonderful advice from Northwest Territories artist in Canada who said, don't bother with the institutions, do the art and the institutions will come to you. And so I said, you know what? Yeah, true, let's do it. So I just jumped in. I said, I'm going to just start making my art, start releasing it, and just start doing the thing. I don't need any systems. I just need me, my elders, my community, and we'll get it done.
Wow. And that's what you did.
And that's what I did.
That is amazing. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. For those of us who are of indigenous background, we don't have to be rigidly put in a box, right? And being told this is how you should do things, but you can also create your own space and do it your way. What do you think, Tamara?
Yeah, if you don't feel that that space is a good space for you, if it's not healthy, and even particularly if you're dealing with things that are tapu and sacred, it's not always safe to take those things into those spaces. So create your own space, set your own rules, your own communities, and then you can have deeper, meaningful relationships, say.
So you mentioned that they also the indigenous communities in Canada. Have you had some connections and collaboration with them while you've been growing up in Canada?
Yes, very much. Now that things have changed quite a bit in Canada with truth and reconciliation within the last 5 years. So I didn't actually understand that I, as a Rotuman, is an Indigenous person for the first 25 years of my life. And I had a connection with my Indigenous peers of Canada, but I didn't understand what was going on. And when I would hear the histories, knowing our own histories in the South Pacific, I knew something wasn't lining up. But as I grew older and came to understand my own Indigenous identity, and then to make my own Indigenous sisters out here and to see the things that they do, and they're all doing land-based medicine work with their peoples, with the community, doing the language revitalization. Like I'm learning how to do this from watching my sisters and my peers do this with their own communities here. And I'm also really taking note on the gentleness and the kindness and patience that a lot of Indigenous communities here are using as a way to heal from colonization and to bring back language and culture, and how we can take some of that to help deal with some of the barriers to speaking, such as like shame and obedience, that can be really tough for some folks trying to learn.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Wow. I'm really glad that you're able to expand your network and also your own space, to create your own work, in the arts as well as in the language. Now, while you were growing up, in Canada, how familiar were you in terms of the Rotuma language and culture?
Yeah, so I grew up with a Canadian mother and a Rotuman father. So Rotuman wasn't really spoken in the home, but we did have the massive privilege to grow up with a diaspora community club called Club Hungangesea. And so that was all of my elders got together when I was still in my mom's belly, and they hosted their first Rotuba Day. So I got to grow up doing Tomaka Totonga dances and chants, as well as just having that community gathering every couple of months to every year to get together and be around. So I got to grow up with Farah. I got to go to Rotuma when I was, 4, 8, and 12, and those were life-changing experiences. So there, when I was experienced Rotuman, it was a full experience, but then there was no Rotuman for long periods of time, just being in the West and being ethnically ambiguous in my community here.
That is amazing that you still have that Rotuma, experience, even though you are, far removed from the island. So thanks to your dad, and the elders in Canada for allowing that for you, to grow and also to appreciate your culture. Now you mentioned in 2016. Now we're gonna get straight into your book. Now, for those of you
Sure.
who are listening in today, there's a whole reason why we are here. Tamara is also an author and artist, and she created this very special book for the children of Ratuma. Woohoo! And it is so exciting. So she's going to tell us about this book. So maybe tell us how it got started, the whole step from step one, and then we can go along the way, Tamara.
Sure, yes. So back in 2016, I had the privilege of being elected president for Klapugagasea. And so I wanted to create some sort of deliverable to give to the community, as the previous office had made a songbook. And so some cousins, Fanifo and Sa'a, had said, oh, it'd be really nice if we had like a word list or an alphabet book or something. And at that time with the leadership, it was just like, you say it, I'll make it happen, like a little Rotuman genie. So I started getting to work, making it happen, and I was able to produce this with just some choppy Photoshop and dodgy skills from the internet back in the day on my old laptop. And I would just do it while I was in college classes, listening to the lecture and then zoning out and working on my book. And I was able to thankfully have a friend who owned, their parents owned a printing company. So they were able to donate 50 copies of these little books for free. And we were able to distribute it at our 2018 Rotuma Day and do a language workshop with all the elders and kids there reading together. And it was just lovely.
So
Yeah.
that's 2017 to 2018.
Yeah. And then flash forward now, I really was struggling with not having the technology I needed to get the vision I really wanted out. But then eventually I was able to get a hand of some new tools and create this book with all handmade illustrations from myself. And I was able to put a lot more dialogue with my language skills and also the relationships that I've built with my elders who mentor me. So like to be able to just like hop on the phone call and chat about, how can we, these are very simple childhood sentences, but translating Rotuman and English and trying to find a mutual sentence can be quite difficult. And I don't have the knowledge on the expert side to be able to give that context. So I had to work with a lot of different elders over many years to try and put together something that can actually tell a story like this.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
beautiful, man. How did it feel for you to actually hold the book in your hand?
Oh, so good, so good. Oh, it's so shiny, such good. Oh, it's so colorful. Oh, the day I got this copy in my hand, I was just like, wow, really. We have a word, a treasured item or a gift, a tefa kanisi, and the Rotuman Language Week theme of treasure and teach Rotuman language, a gift from God. I felt the gift from God in my hands.
Wow, that is awesome. Wow, there you go. So it's really nice to see that this is a wonderful gift. And it's been given to you there, Tamara, but you didn't hold on to that gift, but you want to share it with the world, right? And when you started the workshop way back in 2016, was it easy for you to access the elders back then, and were they responsive to you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think the transition from being a child to being an adult, and then with your elders, you start to have different conversations, and that relationship takes time to build. And even for myself, I'm not trying to just show up at my elders' house, knock on their door, and say, "Hey, what's this?" and then leave. This is a deeper relationship. I love them; they love me. This is something where we spend lots of time together to develop the sentences and the relationship. So. And I worked with a lot of different elders, I could ask 5 elders and get 8 different ways to say something. So there's a lot, it's a lot more complicated. But they all have seen the Ngarue, the work that I've done in our Kongangasea community, for the past 30 years. And so they've always been so supportive, and they've always had my back. So they love the work that I do, they support it, and but those relationships did take time to develop, to be able to have these conversations. And I can see the difference from when I started here back in 2016 to now. The relationships, even with my elders, and how I can understand them, has changed so much.
Wow. That is awesome. And what was the response like from the community?
Very good. Yes, they were so happy. I was able to show them this weekend at Rotuma Day. I was able to gift a couple copies to all the elders who helped me, as well as show everybody the new version. A lot of them have the original version, so they were excited to purchase the new one. They say this is the limited edition now. And they were all just so happy. And I was able to give some away as like a prize as well. So there was one mother, a cousin of mine, I hadn't seen her in years. She's got some sons now, and she said, "Oh, I really want them to learn the language. They've really taken an interest." And I said, "Oh, I wish you win the prize." And guess what? She sure did. She won the book. And she said the next day her son said "Foyexia" to the grandmother. So just truly beautiful work, that the way that this can all move and impact not just me, but other people, eh?
Wow, that is wonderful. And you mentioned earlier that Rotuman language is in a vulnerable, category. Yeah.
Mm.
How do you feel now that you have this book and thinking about the vulnerability situation, but then now you are responding to that by creating this resource? What would you like to say to your fellow Rotumans who are listening in about the importance of creating these resources to help out?
Very impactful, eh? Because I think the discourse of endangerment can be so dangerous to the psyche of an Indigenous person, and that did impact me for so long. But now that I've gone on this journey, because I'm English first language, EFL, so this is a way of facilitating my language learning. And I wasn't able to get the language learning I needed through the systems we had, so I had to create something different. So don't be afraid to think outside the box and create new ways, whether that's through art, through painting, or through drawing, or through dancing, whatever that gift from God that you're called to express your Rutumanity through, pursue it. And I say to people, if you have questions about Rotuman, just put it out there. Put it in a prayer. Just put it out there. The coconut hears it and brings it back. I swear, I'll just have a random thought about what a word means, and then someone will show up at the door the next week talking about it. It just happens. So just trust. Just start walking and just trust that calling and just hear it, and practice your potonga, practice your tomaka songs, because those really help like a mantra to ground and focus my brain on Rotuman and learning. And now I really struggled to understand my elders before, but yesterday when my elders were saying their final words, I understood everything they said. And when I started this project, that wasn't possible.
Wow, look at that. Wow. So we just have to take that leap of faith and do something about it. Yeah.
But walk with humility, very important. Take the leap of faith, take the steps, but also walk with humility and ask your elders for guidance along the way.
That is really empowering.
Mm.
Yeah, very, very important. And also, I was thinking too, when I saw your unboxing video, I was thinking about, sometimes Tamara, we often wait for someone else to do it.
Mm.
Sometimes we're like, oh, I'm too young. I don't have the experience. I might wait for auntie so and so. I'll wait for uncle so and so. What happened to you there, Tamara? What made you make the decision to do something?
Yeah, it's so impactful, is that elders pass away. That's the truth. They pass away and they will pass away. So if I don't act now, the time will pass and it will never be. And I was in a very uncomfortable place with my identity in the West, especially white passing. Nobody knows what I am. Just I needed to root my soul in my rich humanity, and this was the way that this was the path that God gave me to do that. And I have seen how language revitalization impacts so much more than just a language, but it impacts the way I see the world. It impacts so much more about how I walk and how I treat other people, because now I think not with an English framework, but I think with a Rotuman and an indigenous framework in my mind. And that changes everything.
That is amazing that, you mentioned that the elders were speaking and you understood what they said. Um, thank you for sharing that. And I think that's going to be very impactful, for our young listeners, who may be, who are listening now, maybe you're listening later, to know that every step that you make, it counts. Yeah, it adds to your knowledge and your understanding. Yeah. And also, your role as an illustrator, because I know in books, normally you have the writer or the author, and then someone else illustrate. But in this one, you decided to take on both roles. Tell us, how did the whole process go for you?
Like you said, if you wait around for somebody to do it, it's never going to get done. And if you want somebody else, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. So you better get doing it then. So I just hopped on and started doing it, and just like art, you just start drawing, you just start practicing. And I can tell you there's so many wasted papers where I tried with watercolors and inks, and I just wasn't getting what I wanted. And it wasn't until, thankful for my partner, he had an iPad he wasn't using, and I was able to use it and download Procreate, and it was so intuitive for me to work with that I could do the language and the drawing all together. And then I could really just take my symbols without having to do the extra communication with an illustrator and the story I want to tell, and just make it myself. And I started off with practicing with my block printing storytelling, where I animate things and I put poetries with it. So practicing the storytelling on smaller bits and working my way up to being able to write a book and a story.
Wow, that is amazing. I love the fact that you also included poetry. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Very important for me. I do a lot of Rotuman language reels where I'll take a root word and I'll make an art with it, and then I'll do a poetry kind of behind it. Like Armea was my recent one. And I kind of looked up what Armea, where it flies in Rotuma, what it eats, and what its life is like, and I'll try and make a poem about it, because I truly believe it's one word at a time. It's been one word at a time for me this whole way. And then you just build more and more and more words, and the next thing you know, you're speaking.
Wow. I love that. I love that. I'm gonna have to take that line one word at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is a beautiful, beautiful, empowering phrase. Because sometimes people wanna, have things, the results come in fast. Sometimes it's better to slow down and one word at a time. Yeah,
Mm.
one word at a time. Now that we have the book for the Rotuma alphabet, what are your plans? Are you planning to write some more?
Yes, I finally have permission to. Oh man, I had to say, don't stop focusing on anything else, just get the book done for so long. Yes, totally. I wrote an alphabet book because that's where my skills were at. I'm at the primary level of Rotuman, so we'll do a primary book. So, I'd love to do more basics with storytelling, things like food and numbers and all of that stuff. I would love to do that, God willing, with my elders' support and the more language I learn. And I would love to be able to translate some of the stories like Tales of a Lonely Island to more palatable kind of stories. But that's something way down the road. I don't have those skills yet, so I need to start with my letters and numbers.
So that's nice. So one step at a time, yeah, one word at a time, one letter at a time, and you
Yeah.
will get there. You will get there.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is so
Yeah.
great. So for those of you who are learning the language, any language whatsoever, if you're feeling frustrated, just know you're not alone, right?
Mm.
You're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many of you out there who are very frustrated. You want to full speed and learn and speak fluently. Just remember, you will get there. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
just like how Tamara said, one word at a time, that's the best way to learn. Yeah, so take your
Mm-hmm.
time and you will get there. What is your advice, Tamara, to parents and who are listening in? You mentioned about your cousin who now have children and that they are now interested to learn the Rotuman language. What would you tell them?
Yeah, I think for me, patience is so important. Whether you are an elder working with other youth or a youth that's learning from an elder, or somebody that's totally reconnecting. Maybe you've gotten completely separate from your Rotuman and you don't know where to start. Just be so patient and compassionate, because language trauma is a deeper thing connected to colonization, that we have to understand that it's much deeper than I just don't speak the language. And so your body has to become, your body has to remember your ancestry and remember your ancestral tongue and all of the mana that comes with the words that you learn as well. That's been really impactful for me to learn, that the more language I learn, the more there's spirituality that comes with it. There's other histories of spirits and aitu and all of these different things about the culture that is so much deeper than just the language, that all encompasses the identity. So just being very patient, taking your time, and then putting the ask out there, whatever it is you want to learn, just vocalize it somehow, whether maybe that's just going to Rotumans on Facebook and saying, hey, this is my grandmother, I'm looking to reconnect. Just put whatever you're looking for out there, like Farah, to ask, and it will come back for you.
That is wonderful. And I'm glad you mentioned Facebook. Social media is also a wonderful platform that everybody's coming together to share ideas and also share different styles of teaching and also learning. So I really love the fact that you're incorporating poetry, art, and language. That is really, really creative, Tamara.
Thanks, yeah, thank you.
Really, really good. Now, in terms of the Rotuma language classes, are there any classes in Canada?
No, so that's been one of the major barriers for us, is that there are no formal classes. I think maybe up in Fort McMurray, Alberta, they've been doing some classes. But like you said, sometimes we don't have the skills to do what we want. And so for myself, Afakasi, I just don't have the skills or the resources to make that happen. I need somebody who is really fluent, has the time and capacity and the leadership to make that happen. So language classes was something outside of my capacity to make happen, but a book was something within my capacity. And now we're working on a mentorship program, trying to partner elders with youth to create some sort of deliverable, whatever that is, whether it's a song, a story, an interview. And hopefully that way we can facilitate language classes, but in a more mentorship style.
And you are so blessed that you have some elders in the community and they are willing to, work with you. And I know many of us, even for me, I was surprised to know that there are Rotumans in Canada. Maybe you can just share a little bit about what life is like for you as a Rotuman in Canada, for our young ones who are listening in, who may be curious to and wonder what life is like.
Like you said, most people don't know the Mabel Biscuit exists, but we do. We're here. We're probably cold and pale, but we're here. We try and get together, but a lot of us are spaced very far apart. Canada is a massive country. The sprawl is quite a lot. So even if you live in the same Metro Vancouver area, you might be quite far away from your family. So it is quite hard for us to get together, but we've really worked on developing online resources and doing like virtual meetings. We do like check-ins during the winter and things like that, hosting that on Zoom. And then we try and get together at least once a year for a long weekend or like a summer barbecue. And then we just keep updating things on our club Facebook page, Club Hongang Esaya. So if there's any Rotumans out in Canada who are wanting to connect, find Club Hongang Esaya. We're there. We're spread out across Northern Alberta, Vancouver Island, on Vancouver, because we've all moved away and just with the things of growing up in the West. So finding ways for us to come together and still connect online has been a big thing for us Rotumans in Canada.
So distance can be a challenge, but now you're using technology to connect all of you. That's great. So how often do you meet online?
Yeah, well, lately we've been doing it every 2 weeks, or even almost every weekend for a little bit, trying to lead up to Rotuma Day practicing. But lately we've been trying to do like at least once a month or something, and then we'll take some breaks here and there. But then unless you've got direct family, like other aunts and uncles around or brothers and sisters, you don't really run into other Rotumans in your day-to-day. And I did a survey to find this out. I surveyed our club to see what are our language needs. And it was very clear that the most of us meet during our Huangasean gatherings.
Wow, that's great that you did the survey. Wow, well done. And the responses has been increasing over time, and I think now with everyone on social media, Tamara.
Yeah, it was part of an endangered languages project, program project, ready to revitalize. So I was able to recreate another diaspora research that had surveyed back in 2013 and apply it to my Canadian community. And then that's where the mentorship project came out of, with surveying and seeing the need for mentorship and language classes and language resources.
And you mentioned about the Rotuma project that in Letila and the others who are now doing, which is really great. I think was it Jason?
Rotuma project, I'm talking to Kathy
No,
Weber and I
Jonathan.
think
Was it
Jonathan
Jonathan?
Fong.
Jonathan
Yeah.
Fong. Jonathan Fong. So maybe they might be able to connect to you in Canada?
Yeah, we're hoping. We've just been in contact. We're going to meet next month and talk about it and hopefully get Rotuma project out here, hopefully for 2026, maybe 2027. We'll see what we can organize. Try and bring in some of the Rotumans from up north and on the island and see what we can get happening.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And I'm sure the Rotumans in Rotuma would love to host you one day. Are there plans for youths in Canada to go over to Rotuma?
A lot of them have been able to go in the last year. Now that we've got the direct flight from Fiji to Vancouver, makes it much easier than it used to be. So a lot of the youth have been able to go back. I haven't gone back since 2007, but now that I finished the book, something in me feels like I can go now.
That will be wonderful, for you to maybe have some time, to attend the Rotuma, high school,
Oh, yes.
and to do some classes with them. That'll be great.
Yeah, I really want to go back. I know our community center in Fapufa, last I saw it was just painted bland gray. I want to go paint it. I want to go do some murals out there. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to fundraise with the book is for mentorship projects, taking some art supplies to Rotuma and making my village colorful. I think that would be really fun.
Absolutely, because when you hear the word Rotuma, I see color.
Yeah, true. Yeah, bright reds, pinks, all the colors. Yes,
All the colors. We need the
needs it.
colors. Yeah, we need the colors. So, for our brothers and sisters listening in from Rotuma, just know that one day Tamara and the youths of Canada will be visiting your island. And Fesaitu Solomon and I would love to join along because that's one of my dreams, Tamara, to visit Rotuma. So, if your group is going over there, I'd love to tag along and be part of this exciting program that you have. Well, because language revitalization is such a wonderful thing to be done because now as well, I'm sure you are aware that we are part of the decade of international indigenous language celebration all over the world from 2022 to 2032. Yeah.
Neat. Very cool.
So I think what you're doing now is a result of community collaboration, but also you're doing something for your language. That is really, really amazing. So to conclude our Talanoa today, I know some people would like to buy your book. You better tell us where they should go and buy it.
Sure, yes, you can find my book. You can follow my page, hanisaka.hanihapa on Instagram, or Hani Hani Arts on Facebook, and the link is there on my website. I can send that. How about I put that in the chat for you? Would that be
Yes.
helpful?
So if you can put it on the chat, that'll be good. So Hani Saka and Hani Hapa. That's your page on Facebook.
There you go. Yeah, that's my Instagram name. So you can find my website through there. The link is in my bio. If you're
IG.
on Facebook, I think my page is Hani Hani Arts.
Okay. All right. Hani Hani Arts. Yeah. So Hani Hani
Yeah.
Arts. So we're typing it on the chat. So for those of you who would like to purchase a copy, you can go to Tamara's Instagram page as well as her Facebook page. There's a link in her bio. Once you click that, it'll take you straight to the site where you can purchase a book. So anyone from around the world tomorrow can purchase and it can be delivered to them.
Yeah, so far I've sent some books to Fiji, Aotearoa, Australia, even Japan. So yeah, you can get a book wherever you are. I can make it happen.
Wow, there you go. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there's no excuse to say that you cannot learn the Rotuman language. We're so blessed that we have Tamara here who has taken the time out of her busy schedule. She is a teacher by profession and she's also an artist, and she's combining all of that to create this wonderful Rotuma language alphabet book. So there you go. I will also share her website, and that's a book she's holding. There you go. Woohoo! See, look at those beautiful, colorful puakas. Nice
Yeah.
little piggies from Rotuma.
Yeah, his name's Suka, Suka the pig, sugar.
It's really nice that we can see your artistic side of life. You know, you're adding color, just the way the words are written. It's really, really good for the little learners, but also for the new language learners too. You know, it's for everybody. So before we end our Talanoa, I'll give it back to you now, Tamara, to say any words of thanks to those who have helped you along the way. I know you've shared that it's not been it's been a community work. You've been working with others. So the time is yours now.
Yeah, I just want to give a big foyexia to all of my o'oi from Club Hungangasea, particularly my Kunusi. He's a woodcarver, Rotuman woodcarver. So I'm a second generation Rotuman artist. And so the art all comes from that. And my uncle, Utfa, Sosefo Avaiki, he's been, the two of them have really helped me so much. They're both homegrown, born and raised in Rotuma. So they've got the real knowledge, and I'm just so grateful that grateful for their life. We say Noa Mori, which we know as hello, but it also means thank you for being alive. And so I take that very seriously. Noa Mori to my elders. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Thank you for teaching me the language. Just from the bottom of my heart, there's nothing more that I could ask for other than just the time that they take to speak to me and to welcome me into the community and to build Pungangasea, which means of one mind, like unity and agreement. So really embodying those values of Rotumaneity so far from home has been life-giving for sure.
That is amazing. And I also know that Dad played a really huge part, in your upbringing and to remind you about your Tuman side. Would you like to say something to Dad?
Yeah, may Vinaka Aisake, just a big payekse to him for all of the art and language that he's been able to teach me. I know it's been a really tough journey, learning language, especially in Canada, where you're having to speak English all the time and how confusing and difficult that can be. So I thank him for his patience and Ngaruwe, the work that he's put in all of these years to nourish and feed this little soul of Rotuma in my heart. It is so big, and we share the heart of Rotuma as a birthmark even. My father, he's got a heart-shaped birthmark on him, and I've got it, but it's on my neck. So I say, Rotuma bit me. I got a love bite from Rotuma on here.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah, thank you so much, Tamara. And also, I'm sure, no doubt, your mom, is a huge supporter, to allow you, to learn your Rotuman culture, even though you're in her homeland in Canada. Would you like to say something to mom as well?
For sure, yeah. Big foyexia to my mother and all the aunties actually from Club Hungagasea. We have so many partners that are not Rotuman, even just people that are not Rotuman at all, just Samoans, Fijians, all of the Tongans, like just all of the supportive members of our Rotuma Club that have shown up year by year by year, having the relationship, putting in work, and just really nurturing the community that I'm able to flower from, planting the seeds that I got to have as a kid, and now being able to embrace these flowers and share these books. And, she's got grandchildren now, not from me yet, but she can read this book with her little grandchildren, and she loves to learn Rotuma. She loves the island so much, and it's just so great to see all of these flowers blooming from these seeds that were sown so long ago.
So wow, man, thank you, Vinaka vakalevu for Exia, Tamara for being here with me today. When Miriam messaged me that gave me a little bit of the background of your work and the book, I was super excited, and I know you're still recovering from the celebration of the Rotuman Language Week this week. And just from me and all the listeners today, we just want to congratulate you for your just for being what's the word? Determined, yeah,
Mm.
to get the book up there. You had a little one in 2018, and now you have a revised version, and now it's available for sale. So from all of us, Vinaka vakalevu Tamara.
Vinaka vakalevu. Thank you, Dr. T. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, and we might see you in Vancouver.
See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, bye bye, Mother. Wow, Vinaka vakalevu to Tamara, who is originally from Rotuma, from Itumuta, and she is connecting in from the beautiful city of Vancouver in Canada. And since we've just been celebrating the Rotuma Language Week, she launched her book, Rotuma Language Alphabet book. She launched it on Friday, and so which was last week. But she's talking about it. And now, for those of you who are listening in, if you want to buy a Rotuma language alphabet book, the link is on my page. Yeah, so you can go there. It's www.honeyhoney-arts.com. Yeah, honey, Hani, dash arts. So you can go straight in and you can see the amazing resources and books that Tamara Aisake have been creating. Boleh binaka tu filon randra, boleh binaka ilaitia matkarawa, boleh talchik ngabe Madam Melanoa, dua ni lawang ngone lewo, di boleh binaka nukumarama, Vinaka Sara na sema chukumai and sin Vinaka indai labuna tapanga ni bakarong chukumeia o baka tulosa chukayani pabidi Vinaka tikumai na nomuni barong tikumai and nero maybe talano tiko ke Tamara Aisake ngone le ni rotuma baka tiku sarang gome Vancouver me Canada asenga tabu saranga endona nona i bola na bosa bakarotuma sa bol tiku na i bola na mona liba sa ti ko talaga na mona libo-libong ko me politik talaga yan kebir na bi mata bubali ni rotuma erti ko na bese viti ke na bese buru-buru baka talaga kina veiran na lubenda may na yano o rotuma sa ti ko na loto tuba-tuba merton lang wala yan kirotumo iran na ay tambangone che rotuma era tipo meccanica e non tornano era ngande anni che na yanu leo mo kortuma e non tornano sa tingo mai leo bina ka baliw sarbi kim ni keda na bakarong tiko mai um nimbula binaka na viwekani filo ndandra chosua na ulumatua kalombara bilala sangol chuka na pakamiti binaka bikim ni totoksar e na nomuli siya matiko mai na ni Robi Talanoa Vateke Tamara Aisake. Usapa kumada ni bikim ni na madha ngo tiko taliso na nonda bulangi e na sulit tiko mai merme Bitalanoa e na nunggu ipata-pata e na buku ni nonra duisa sangay so e na nonra volleyball kena big tampan sa kada kaya rabing gravity ko kina. Nakabalib sara na naman di pakararong umay. Au sa pakamadayani ni mathemat.